And welcome everyone to Films with the Women in My Life. My name is Brennan, and joining me tonight is Jess.
Hey guys.
And Mama K.
Hey everybody.
And tonight we will be reviewing this 2005 Noah Baumbach film, The Squid and the Whale. The Squid and the Whale is the movie. It is...
Yeah, despite what I thought, it's not a cartoon about a squid and a whale.
No, as soon as I said Squid and the Whale, I think Jess's mind immediately went to SpongeBob, as it often does, but it's nothing like that.
I said that. I was out to dinner and I said, what if it was really just the SpongeBob movie?
No, I mean, I think at one point we will probably do that, just because it's with Jess on the show, it's inevitable. Yes. But so this is Noah Baumbach's third or fourth film, depending on if you count one of his films that he discarded. I don't know if you guys know this filmmaker. I like him a lot. This is one of his better ones, in my opinion. But he has written on a couple Wes Anderson movies, Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou and Fantastic Mr. Fox. He wrote on both of those. And he also directed, I think the biggest films other than this are While We're Young, Francis Ha, Greenberg. I do not like that movie. And he did the Netflix movie, The Meyerowitz Stories. So are you guys familiar at all with Noah Baumbach or anything he's written or directed?
None of what you said sound familiar.
Uh-huh.
I know the name, but I have not seen any of those films. Even though some of them are Wes Anderson, I still haven't seen them.
I say you like Wes Anderson. You haven't seen Squid and the Whale?
I do.
Squid and the Whale. That's what we're doing. You haven't seen Life Aquatic or Fantastic Mr. Fox?
I haven't. Life Aquatic, no, and I've tried to watch Life Aquatic a couple times, but I have to be really super awake for any of Wes Anderson's movies, so
yeah.
I tend to not.
And he
be
did
super
produce
awake
this.
these days.
Wes Anderson produced this, so he's
he's
got some sort of involvement. Not
he does. There's a fingerprint.
You can tell. You can tell a little bit.
I can feel it. Yeah.
But I would say Noah Baumbach. If you know, people are probably more familiar with Wes Anderson than Noah Baumbach, if anyone. Noah's like the more like depressed, emo-ish cousin of Wes Anderson. It's that same kind of writing style, but I'm going to say in pretty much all his movies, most of his characters are unlikable pricks. And I like it, but it's definitely an acquired taste. And I think that this is a movie that features, we'll get right into it. It features four pricks and a couple other people. The Squid and the Whale captures with extraordinary immediacy the inner workings of the Berkman family in 1986 Brooklyn. It stars Jeff Daniels and Laura Linney as the parents, Bernard and Joan, and Jesse Eisenberg and Owen Klein as the kids, Walt and Frank. You also got Anna Paquin as Lily, a character who comes in a little bit later, Haley Pfeiffer as Sophie, Walt's girlfriend, and a couple other characters popping in and
William
out.
Baldwin.
Yeah, you're right, I did. I forgot. William Baldwin,
the tennis dude.
I'm gonna go the third Baldwin in my head is the tennis coach, and we will talk about him. Oh Lord,
yeah. That's right, brother. We're gonna talk about him, brother.
Yeah, brother. Sup, brother?
Oh my God, who is he even?
I don't even think he's good at tennis. I don't get his purpose.
No, they don't actually have to show him playing tennis, because then it would require him to play tennis.
I don't think he's good at tennis.
And I want to get right into this because it's only an hour and 20 minutes. It's a short movie, which is nice. Most people like that. Because especially people who want to crush every movie known to man. This is an easy watch, and it's streaming on Amazon Prime right now. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. If you want to, hear our spoilers about it, and have any interest in one of Noah Baumbach, Wes Anderson's kind of more indie films. So the way we rate things here at Films with the Women in My Life are on 4 criteria. Those are the plot, the characters, the visual and sound, and the overall resonance and feel of the movie. Before we get into our ratings, we'll talk about the plot a little bit.
Wait, so how many times have you seen this, and across how many years?
I probably started this first, I'm going to go 7 or 8 years ago. So pretty close to a couple years after, like five-ish years after it came out. And I own this movie. This is one of my favorite movies. I can't even keep that till the end. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies. It might be, of everything we've reviewed so far, the highest on my list of what we've reviewed so far.
I need to know why.
We will get into that. But
okay,
so
I'm just saying, I need to know, besides, the critical acclaim that you're going to throw down.
No, it's not going to be like Eternal Sunshine, where I'm going to throw all these top rankings. This doesn't have the same acclaim. It's an indie darling from 2005, but it's not exactly held to the same status. It's a good movie critically.
But this was watchable. I mean, the other movie that you're comparing it to is unwatchable.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I was bored, but I could watch it.
It hurts me that it's like a bittersweet right here. I'm like, oh, they like it more than Eternal Sunshine. I'm like, oh, but they hate Eternal Sunshine. Stop bringing me back to that. Yeah. I hate that. Ugh.
Wait, did you pick out this movie or did Nicole?
No, I picked this one because I knew it was streaming. I knew it was short, and I want to talk about it. So, I threw this one out there.
Okay.
Okay. Well. So,
we can do that.
So, Squid and the Whale. We start off with Bernard. We start off with a family: Bernard, Joan, Walt, and Frank. Their relationship is very clearly rocky across the board. We see them playing tennis. They're yelling at each other, saying snide comments. And the
tennis might be some of my favorite parts.
The tennis is good stuff. So you guys have both seen this for the first time. I don't want to gush all over it. I want you guys to say, first experiences. Jess, we'll start with you. What did you think of the plot of Squid and the Whale?
This is a good movie if you like bad parenting. I'm gonna say that.
If you want firm examples of what not to do.
Yeah, if you want to watch what not to do, how not to raise your kids, this is a good movie for you.
Yeah. How to keep the dysfunction going for generations, I think.
Yeah, how to fuck up your relationship with your wife and your kids. And the cat. You should watch this.
And the cat. I mean, we don't even know. We don't even know. Yeah, but who knows? At the end, who knows what happened?
Well, that's part of the mystery.
My first thoughts.
It's life itself.
Okay, so I think after the first 5 minutes, I texted you, and I kind of knew what the movie was, and I was just like, "You're doing this to me again."
The tone. I immediately was like, I thought I picked this because I was like, I love this movie. Let's do it. And then after 5 or 10 minutes after I said let's do it, I was like, oh shit. Jess is gonna hate this. Jess is gonna hate everyone in this. She's gonna hate every character. She's gonna hate. And you told me earlier offline that you actually like a few characters, and I like 2 of them.
Yeah,
I can't wait to get to the character part because I think I know who you like, but we'll see.
I like one of them.
Well, there's the core 4, and then there's the girlfriend.
The cat doesn't count.
No, the cat doesn't count. There's the core 4 family. There's Billy Baldwin. There's the girlfriend, and there's the girl that stays with Bernard, the Jeff Daniels character. So there's, I guess,
the college slut.
7. The college slut, who I know, that's got to be Jess's favorite character, I'm sure.
Nope, I did not like the college
slut. So Mama K, what do you think here at the very beginning?
So we're talking about plot.
We haven't given ratings per se yet, but
Right. I like the plot. I do like the fact that it's short because it would have been actually unbearable. It's just too much, not just bad parenting, but just like bad personage, I mean.
That was my concern, with you anyway.
Well, and it's not like I found this movie interesting. I would watch this movie again, but.
High praise.
I feel like your expectations are very low, so anything we say you're really happy about.
Yeah, that's true. I really was thinking it was going to go a totally different way.
I know your guys' taste, so I recommended this on complete enthusiasm, and then as soon as I thought about it for a second, I was like, shit, this is not a Jess or a Mama K movies, but maybe they'll like some of it.
Yeah, but there are certain movies it sort of reminded me of a movie called The Anniversary Party. Do you know that film with...
I have not seen that, actually.
Jennifer Jason Leigh is in it. Kevin Kline is in it. So Owen Kline's dad.
do love
And all the people are terrible. Every character in that movie is terrible.
All right, that sounds like something I'd like.
Yeah, Alan Cumming he's the main character actually, which he doesn't get a lot of main character stuff. But the plot of this movie, it's, you know, I like it in the fact that it's a totally human interest story, and I guess, you know, from what little I've looked at, it's, you know, very autobiographical for Noah Baumbach, and
it is. This is his most
sorry
autobiographical film.
That this happened to him, because clearly this is the reason he needs to make these kind of films. But, you know, I like the plot. I like where it went, how quickly it went, like pretty much nowhere, because there was nowhere to go, because these two, especially the two adults in the movie, are just, I mean, I don't know that you can find two more self-centered people. And these are supposed to be they're supposed to be the enlightened ones, you know. I mean, these are people that are, you know,
that's how
PhDs.
they think of themselves.
Well, yeah, and then when I also read that this is like, you know, like a comedic triumph, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't laugh one time at this movie, like not even internally.
You didn't laugh one time?
No, one time I had a Jesus Christ, oh my God moment in the library with the little boy.
Yep, I was going to say, what's the library scene?
I cannot wait to get to that. Oh, I cannot get.
I feel like we're almost there. I mean, that was, and then again, I said, no. And then that was like, those were basically my comments during the movie. So laughing was not one of them. Yeah.
I'm laughing just remembering it. I've seen this movie probably 20-something times, and Nicole was sitting right next to me, and I was watching it, and I would laugh. It's like she would look at me with like, "Why are you laughing at that?"
Yeah, she's spot on. I can see you laughing at my reaction to these things, but not the actual.
This would have been good to watch in person with you guys. I think it would have been really fun for me, not for you guys, but for me.
I probably would have needed a bottle of wine to get through this one again.
Yeah, I did have a big fat margarita earlier, so.
Yeah, I've been editing other shows, so I've had whiskey in me.
So basically, when you recommend a movie, Jess and I drink, and then we come on. So this seems about right.
Well, I drink to edit, and I've been editing earlier. So I mean, here we are.
I drink to watch.
So, we'll get back to the plot of it all. We haven't given our ratings yet. We'll go back to that in a second. But bottom line is Bernard and Joan are married. Their marriage is not good. Bernard is a on the decline pretentious writer, and Joan is on the ascend pretentious writer. So they're both pretentious writers who don't have real jobs and over-intellectualize everything and are complete douchebags. Especially Bernard. Jeff Daniels' character is the douchiest douchebag of all time.
Oh my God. The way he talks to his kids is just...
I love it. Love it. I love his character.
I raised you
so
wrong
much.
then. I mean, maybe I
was going to say, like, so... What
I don't want him as my parent. I don't want to be him, nor do I want him as my parent. But as a character, he is endlessly entertaining. I could watch him forever. Like, he is so unrelentingly just... he's just so interesting to me. We'll get to that in character.
In a
Bernard and Joan
kind of way. I mean,
yeah, but like an unrelentingly, like, I'm still better than you train wreck. Like, he will never unrelent that it's his fault. That everything's probably 90% of this is his fault, and he will never blame someone else intellectually.
It wasn't a heart attack. I was just really stressed out. I was just really, overwhelmed.
My heart's fine. Yeah, he won't even admit his heart is bad. He's just like, it was just a stressful time. Your mother just places so much stress on me. And
oh my God, I hate him so much.
I love his one line to Jesse Eisenberg with the kid Walt, who is like a mini Bernard. He's
yes,
I think I like him the movie because he arcs the most out of all the characters. He actually has
he does
at least somewhat of an arc. But at the beginning, especially, he is a Bernard wannabe. Like, he looks up to his dad like no one else. He thinks he's just the shit. He thinks he's a misunderstood writer. You guys just don't get it. Like just total douchey hipster, sycophant to his father. He's got so many good lines to him. Bernard makes me laugh to no end. With every line he says. I love, so the thing that kicks the movie off is the divorce. Bernard and Joan are splitting up. Walt and Frank are going to split time between them, joint custody. And I love
Joan gets slammed on that because, it's like, oh, she wants the divorce. I'm like, well, but you're a total dick. So
yeah, Bernard claims the entire divorce on her. Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember is Walt says, what happened between you and Mom? Why are you guys getting divorced? And then Bernard's like, I really can't say, I think it has very little to do with me. I think your mom is just a very difficult woman.
It has
and
nothing
to
do with me.
That's how he rationalizes it to himself. But he totally believes his own bullshit. It's so good.
But do you think this guy is funny? The thing
I think he's hilarious.
I know these people walking the earth that are like this. And
yes, I've met people like this.
That shit is not funny at all.
Yeah,
ever.
it's just a huge eye roll to me.
It's funny to me. I think he's a humor. Like in real life, you don't ever want to meet Bernard Berkman. He's awful. But watching him
at him?
I don't want to meet him. I don't want to watch him or his kids or his cat.
I don't even like his beard, and that's easy for me.
It's getting a little feral. Yeah.
Also, he's just so fucking delusional. He gets that extra. So they break up, right? And so he gets this house on the other side of Brooklyn, and
Prospect Park.
It's like a flop house, literally. It's
I love it. He has like no furniture, no decorations, like the wallpaper's coming down.
Yeah, I can get you some more posters. Oh, thanks, Dad.
That's another thing about his character is he's a penny pinching cheapskate to the ultimate max.
Because I think he doesn't has no money.
Yeah, I think he has no money because his career is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
No, he's probably living off of like his $200 a month royalty checks, and like he's barely like making it by, and like. It sounds like he teaches and does some lecture circuits, but it sounds like it's for shit money because no one's reading his new books anymore. So,
and when he's quote unquote teaching, he looks like he's like an adjunct professor, and not exactly an assistant, even an assistant professor.
Yeah, he teaches the 5:30 to 8 p.m. classes.
Right, he's an adjunct faculty member. He makes like $1,200 a semester. So,
well, that's why you use the cloth, not the paper towels.
Yeah. So much.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's so many good cheapskate moments with him in this movie. But
oh my God, Brennan, that's not why you like him, is it?
No, it's not because he's cheap.
Your mom is so concerned.
You keep projecting onto me that like I want to be him. I don't want to be Bernard.
No, but I just need to know why you like him.
He's funny. I think he's.
She's like,
funny.
what did I do wrong?
I think this total
so many of these
douchebag.
Take that bend. Oh my God,
he's
who are you? Who raised you?
He's like if I had. I think when you're like I think. Oh, it sounds so douchey. I can't say it that way.
Just say it.
it's any douchey artistic person's idea of the ultimate douchey artistic person who's not good anymore, or mediocre at best. Like he's that, and he's a schlock B movie director who thinks he's Spielberg. Like he's that kind of person. He was okay for a little bit and now he's washed up, but he thinks he's the shit still. And I just think that character is so funny and interesting to think to the ways he justifies his own awesomeness to himself and forces his because he's forcing his douchiness on others because he thinks they should like kiss his ass because he's so awesome, but he's not. He's awful. But because he's so confidently doing it like that, I don't know. I find it humorous when he tells people, "Don't be difficult." You're misunderstanding. I love that. Yeah. I love that attitude for someone who does not deserve it or earn it, and that's why it's funny. If he actually deserved it, I think like if he were actually successful when he had this attitude, I wouldn't like him because he could back it up. I like that he can't back it up.
There would be no story. I mean, the story is that it's terrible, and the people are terrible, and so the one thing that I was bummed about is that you really didn't. I don't think Laura Linney's character Joan was, fleshed out nearly as much as his character, and
no,
I didn't get to understand her. I mean, basically they're like, well, she's also terrible because she had affairs.
Yeah,
Lots
and
of affairs.
continues before
Several
and after.
affairs constantly.
And
Yeah.
continues to have
She
affairs
bangs
with
Billy Baldwin. I mean, I don't know anyone who gets that desperate, but like, Jesus, like.
I think it was Billy Baldwin in a wig too. I mean, that was bad news. I don't know what's going on there. That was,
It was
not
absurd looking.
That was not. No, okay, brother. I mean,
brother. So
I mean,
we didn't rate the plot. Let's just rate it real quick, and then we'll go into the characters. I give the plot a 4. I like it. I like the writing mostly, but it's pretty simple. But the writing is very sharp throughout it. Whether you like the characters or not, I think the writing is solid. Mama K, rating.
I have to agree with you on the writing. That I think that's what makes it at least somewhat engaging for me, because the plot is. Because the characters are so awful. You believe that they're that awful.
It's basically
so
4 assholes deal with a divorce. Like,
yeah, it's not, the little kid I feel bad for. He's way too little to, I mean, also I loved him the most because he could just throw around the F word and everything. Like, I've never seen a kid play table tennis.
we're a 4th child. This sounds like a little you. Like,
no way, man. No, I did not develop a potty mouth until much later.
Besides the wiping of the books in the library, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm starting to not feel this comparison very well. So, but I think he was. I don't know. For me, he was the most charming, redeemable of the characters. So, yeah. I have to give
grade.
You a number.
Plot grade,
plot
and then
rate.
Yeah.
I'd give it close to a 3.
A 3-ish. Okay. If you say 3 minus, so help me. Like, I can't. I
I
can't deal with these minus grades. You can say 2.5. That's fine.
I said it while you were talking. I said 3 minus. So 2.75. Yeah.
No.
Stop.
Why can't you just? Fine. 2.75. All right. Jess, plot. What do you got?
If she gets the quarter point, I get a quarter point, so 2.25.
Nice.
2.25. Okay.
So we averaged to 2.5. I think that's fair.
You know what? Between the two of you, I'm satisfied with that. I was worried it was going to be 2 or lower. So
I'm satisfied that Jess and I are doing math at this time. So just saying.
Strangely enough, I have a degree in math.
So we've talked about the characters a lot, and Mom and Kay, you were already kind of going into it, so I'll let you just continue with it. What do you think of the characters in this movie, rating-wise, and who do you like, who do you hate?
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to hate Bernard. But I don't know whether I hate Bernard more or I hate the Walt, the Jesse Eisenberg character, because a lot of it has to do with how Jesse Eisenberg plays his characters, honestly. That every character that I've seen him play is just a little too snarky for their own good.
Wait, what else has he been in?
He's been in, I think Zombieland's my favorite role of his, other than maybe this, but I think in this he's really channeling his Social Network.
He's Zuckerberg before Zuckerberg.
This is his pre-Zuckerberg role. I think this is, if I could compare him to anything, that's the one I think of.
It was very Zuckerberg. I mean, that's exactly what it was. And everybody thinks of Zuckerberg as being a little bit, out there and maybe,
an on the spectrum douche.
That's actually the perfect way to put him. I can't even
Well, that's why you got picked to play Zuckerberg. Like, that's
right. They were like, dude, did you see the Whale movie? Because that's him right there.
The Whale movie.
No need to audition. We're just pulling this kid in.
Yeah, that's how the suits refer to this. Like, yo, did you see the Whale movie? We got to get that kid Jesse Eisenberg in our picture.
Listen, I couldn't remember whether it was called the Whale Squid movie. We were trying to find it.
Well, it doesn't make sense to the last 15 minutes, and even then, it's kind of a
it's a stretch.
Well, they talked about it.
I love the reasoning, but we will get to that later. And I think
they talked about it. The mom said that they were talking about how they used to go to the Museum of Natural History, and that was the one thing that he wouldn't look at was the squid and the whale because he was.
But that doesn't happen till the therapy session towards the very very end of him.
Yeah,
he's already begun.
That was
to arc
a little
bit.
Contrived, don't you think?
Wait, him having to go to therapy or his session?
I thought it was necessary. I thought it was the logical step because
I think every character in this movie needs therapy.
Well, he's the only one getting it because he's not a kid, nor is he, a 50-year-old washed-up loser, or
Yeah, there's a college slut and the mom slut.
She has an.
Right.
I mean, she's
There's
her
Sophie,
own.
the wannabe slut.
11-year-old.
She's her own independent woman, but she definitely has an addiction to adultery, specifically.
I think I don't see it as that. I see it that she is trying to escape this heinous life with this dude. I mean,
there's a part where you hear that she cheated on her prior boyfriend before meeting Bernard. She has a she has a history of
she does have a history.
kind of wandering, not being with she's unfaithful through and through.
Those writers.
She's not blameless.
Because she's
PhDs.
she's put against Bernard. She's not seen as bad, but I think against a normal person, she would be clearly awful. Against Bernard, it's hard to be awful against Bernard because he's awful every sentence he says.
God! You know what one of the parts that I do also. I mean, I like the ping pong tennis part, but I also like the fact that
it's no fun for me if you're not trying.
Oh my God!
I don't like beating my 12-year-old son at ping pong unless he's trying. Right,
but actually, I do. I don't really care. Actually, the fact that he just gets so amped up when he can't find a parking spot.
Oh my God! I was about to say that. Yes.
Yeah, talk about that, Jess, because I found that I was like, if there was something that was going to be funny about that, that might have been it. But
I think it was funny. When he's trying to find a parking spot and the little kid was like, "Can you drop me off?" And the dad was like, "No, I picked you up. You might as well help me find a spot together."
Because you know why? It's all about Bernard.
I know.
It's so all about Bernard. Bernard is he should be in the dictionary for narcissist. He really should.
Not that I even liked the name Bernard before, but now I hate that name.
Well, I think everyone in this name has everyone but Frank, who's Owen Klein, the kid. Everyone, Bernard, Joan, and Walt.
Yeah.
These are icky people. No offense to Bernard, Jones, and Waltz that are listening, but you got icky names. I'm sorry.
But dude, there's no Walt that was born in 1970. That's just not a thing. Walt was born in 1920.
They were born if they were born from 80s hipsters like Bernard and Joan. These two characters would name their kid Walt and Frank.
That's true, because they were probably named after Walt Whitman. I don't know who Frank was named after.
I don't know, some star from a 30s silent film.
Frank
Capra,
Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra.
Oh, that's too mainstream.
Yeah.
So ratings for the characters. What do you guys think?
Oh wait, so I want you to guess what you think my two favorite are.
All right.
Yeah.
All
Do it,
right.
Brennan.
So Jess told me before she has two favorites. I'm gonna go. One is the girlfriend.
Yep. I do like
Jesse
Sophie. She was a nice girl.
Is that Lily? Is that her name?
No, this was Sophie.
Sophie.
The other one is tougher. That was the gimme because there's only 7 characters, and I was like, okay, obviously one is the girlfriend because she's like a young.
Yeah, she was a nice girl.
What's the girl in Blue Velvet? She's still an actress today. She's good.
Are you talking about Isabella Rossellini?
No, the young girl.
Oh, you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about. Laura Dern, yeah.
No?
They show Blue Velvet in the movie, and I think of her even before they show Blue Velvet in the movie. She's like a young Laura Dern to me. That's
she does
what
look
she
like a
very
young Laura
much
Dern.
Her looks, her behavior, the character style is very similar. So yeah, one, and then the other is tougher, but I'm gonna go the kid, Frank. My guess.
You got it.
Yeah.
Along with what your mom said, like him just swearing. So I laughed a lot in this movie just because every time the kid came on.
So you like the kid? The kid made it for you.
The kid made it funny.
I think for me too. I mean, watching him in his super sunken little 11-year-old bare-chested drinking beer.
Dude, yeah, he's chugging beer this whole movie.
My favorite scene probably is when he's left alone for 3 days.
And reads his mom's lingerie drawer.
That's just so disturbing. So
he's trying to be the rebellious kid. The parents got divorced. The kid got detrimentally just messed up because of it. That's what he's trying to be.
Frank is a very disturbing child. He is because because he acts so innocently, but he also chugs whiskey and beer and shoves cashews up his nose and like snorts them out like hours to days later, where they're all like,
it was days. I mean, it could have been weeks later.
When he's getting whiskey drunk and he throws up and then and the first time I saw that, I'm like, oh, what is that thing that he just has in his hand? And I remember, oh, it's the fucking cashew. Like it's so disgusting. And we're not even talking about the grossest part. Too.
He's like, what just came out of his face?
He's just
a cashew.
The grossest thing is that he's constantly masturbating in public. I thought it was the first time too. I thought it was some sort of like tumor. Like I thought he had problems, dude. Like I thought.
And then you're like, oh wait, his problems are solved. Tumor's gone.
Yeah, he snorted out the tumor when he was vomiting whiskey. But again, this kid's
now
like.
We know what
they say this kid's
cancer.
They say this kid's 12, but he seems younger than that to me, which is rare. Usually movies play up older. I think he looks younger than 12.
Seems 10.
Yeah, apparently he's supposed to be 12, but whatever. He's a young kid. He's not even really puberty stage yet. And I
know, that's why I'm like, this dude, what is he doing in the library? He's way too young.
He is masturbating all over this whole school, all the time.
And everywhere. He has this little magazine cut out of just this lady's life.
Yeah, the little magazine cut out that he carries around with him. No, everyone's great in it, but like Frank is one of the few, like, he's the most likable of the family, I will say that, as far as like actually liking a character. But he masturbates everywhere, again, 10 to 12 years old, and then he just rubs his semen all over whatever's around. The library's good, but my favorite is when he's carrying it in his hand, like down the hallway. Like you don't even see him masturbate. You just see him carrying it in his hand.
But you know what's in his hand too.
You know, because you've already seen the library. And he starts like tongue kissing this locker, and then he just smears it, and then he smears it again. He like smears it on there, and then he like runs his hand back through. I'm like, this is a disturbed child. Like
that was the time when he was carrying it in his hand that I was going, oh no 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 no. And then, yes, that's exactly what happened.
So you guys talked about.
But there's something almost creepily charming about it. I don't know why.
And he has like his expression is just so funny. Like it's just so blank, but I feel like he's trying to be that rebellious kid. Like you see himself looking in the mirror, just trying to be aggressive and mean and demanding. He
spits whiskey at the mirror in the one scene. He spits beer all over the mirror in one scene. He's trying.
He's like, my parents are divorced. I'm just gonna be this textbook kid.
Yeah.
So you guys talked about him being your favorite character. Jess likes the girlfriend. Besides Bernard, how do we feel about Joan and Walt, who we haven't talked about as much? Laura Linney's Joan, Jesse Eisenberg's Walt.
Joan just seems like the quintessential. I would actually put her in Manhattan on the Upper East Side, just like, oh my God, life, so stressful. And also now I'm a writer and it's amazing.
She belongs to like a Woody Allen movie.
Yeah. And just, I don't imagine she has very many friends.
No, none of these people have any friends. Like, I guess somehow Jesse Eisenberg has some because he's young, but like, these are not friendly characters.
No. They exist in a vacuum. Yeah, so her, who's the other character? Oh, Walt.
He Jesse Eisenberg's.
He evolves,
the Bernard wannabe.
Yeah, Bernard Jr.
But then he starts to really reevaluate a few things, and then when he finds finds Bernard with the character
Anna Paquin's character Lily.
Yeah, she's Lily. Okay, which to me seemed like a non-consensual scene going on.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. All right, what do you mean by non-consensual? Like, so there's a weird.
She said, "I don't." Yeah, he seems to think that she wants his dick in her mouth, and she clearly does not want that. So that's non-consensual in my book.
No, fair. I agree. All right. I guess you guys are the women. I would defer to you. Does Bernard cross the line to the point where it's?
I think he does cross the line, but it didn't get too far. Thankfully, that Walt walked in on it and it all ceased.
Right.
But if he weren't
Walt
to, it probably would have gotten definitely a little too far.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I didn't think Bernard was that malicious. I thought Lily was more in play than. All right. That's
She was a lot of talk. I'll give her that.
She was. I mean, she started the whole conversation earlier when she was looking for an apartment by saying that, You know, the only way she's going to be able to stay in her apartment is if she blows the super. And it's sort of like, okay, well,
that's her introduction. So, like, that you kind of, like...
And I can see where Bernard would take that as a, you know, oh, well, come stay at my place and this will be better for me.
And remember, Bernard's marriage to Laura Linney's Joan is like his third marriage. He's had, it sounds like he basically
with
every 10 years...
With a lot of difficult women as his previous wives. Yeah,
well, that's what he says. Difficult. I think every 10 years he trades in for a younger model, is Bernard. I think that's what he...
Well, the first marriage was annulled, which means that
he makes a big point of it,
figured it out really quickly. And then the other women weren't quite as astute. Yeah.
So let's we've talked about the characters. Give them out. We'll get to the kind of the plot culminations. Jesse Eisenberg's Walt has been going out with Sophie and saying really douchey things to her, just like Bernard would. I love his line when they're like making out for the first time, and she's like, "You're using too much tongue. No, just like little licks." And then they make out for a little bit, and he's like, I wish you didn't have so many freckles on your face. Like, it's so fucking mean, and I think that's a Bernard, like, I'm laughing I laugh so hard at that every time. I think it's so funny. It is,
and it's because it's not like Walt is, like, this hot guy, and he's like, yeah,
no, he's this shrimpy weirdo.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're lucky to have Sophie, first of all.
Yeah, I don't know how Sophie puts up with his shit, honestly, for as long as she does.
I don't get the feeling it's all that long, to be honest with you.
It's a couple weeks, maybe.
Maybe a couple weeks.
He does meet the mom, Sophie's mom, so, like, there's, you know, it's somewhat something. And so that's, like, his storyline. We've already talked about Frank getting drunk all the time. Joan is dating Ivan. Brother.
Brother.
Joan is dating the tennis pro.
Yeah, once she dates Ivan, I'm like, okay, this lady will date anybody. Anybody will give her the time of day.
Laura Linney's character, and so Frank gets everyone in this family is an asshole to each other, and that's those are my favorite parts, because Frank, the little kid that you guys both admitted is your favorite character in the family, they're staring at the mirror, and him and Laura Linney's character, and he's like, I think I have your features. She's like, no, you have your father's features. And he's like, really? Thought I had yours. You're ugly. And then she's like, why would you say that? And he's just like, because I think it's true. I think you're ugly. Like, it's just he's so matter of fact about it, and it's lines like that just run through this whole movie that I love. People are just unabashedly not like they're assholes, but they're not like trying to be funny or particularly mean.
But he's a kid, though. I mean, he's still at the point where, I mean, he might be a little bit too old to be that honest, but you know, I don't know. You can hear it from a 10 or 11-year-old kid, but you know,
I think you can hear it from like a 4-year-old kid. You're ugly, like from a 4-year-old kid. When it's the way he delivers this line, it's like cuts. Like I feel it. Like I feel Laura Linney's pain. Like I feel like it's so miserably honest that and that's the kind of interactions we have with the characters, and that's the stuff that's what I'm still to this day after 20-something watches just laughing out loud too, because I love it. I love it.
I might have to watch it. I literally didn't laugh once, so
I just laughed because that kid entertained me.
The kid was good. I mean, we can all agree. So everything convert. So Jeff Daniels Bernard is quasi dating Anna Paquin's Lily, kind of, not really, but they go to this talent show together while Joan and Ivan go to the talent show together. And the talent show is Jesse Eisenberg's Walt playing a Pink Floyd song that he claims it's Hey You by Pink Floyd that he claims he wrote himself.
No, I mean, my God.
My only defense here is that Bernard and Joan are faux intellectuals. So like they're intellectuals in their own little tiny niche parts, but they don't know music. And like, you know, this is before the internet. This is before everything was so easily accessible. So it's not like they could just type in these lyrics and find out, you know, oh, this is completely plagiarized. But yeah, Jesse Eisenberg's so proud. He plays it. He wins the talent show. I guess enough of the judges didn't know either. But it comes out very soon that he's stolen the song. And then they also find out the school finds out that Frank's been smearing his semen all over the fucking school. So we get some parent-teacher
All of a
conference
sudden,
scenes.
they're problematic kids.
Yeah, basically, Walt and Frank are being fuck-ups right now, and Bernard and Joan are called into some parent conference scenes. We've talked about the characters, we've talked about the general plot, and visual and sound. I'll start with you, Jess, because I don't know if this is... this might be probably, I'm going to guess, is a criticism of yours.
Yeah, nothing really stuck out to me. I don't even remember really. Was there any music?
There was a lot of music.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different
music.
versions of
Okay.
"Hey You" by Pink Floyd, but there's also this this underlying score that's kind of reminds me of the Royal Tenenbaum score from Wes Anderson a couple years before this, but it's very heavy strings and some piano. There's a Schoolhouse Rock song in here.
Yeah, that didn't stick to me at all.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, you can talk. It's okay. I figured you're the Schoolhouse Rock. You grew up
this
with
is
that.
what happened. So the song is playing, and the first time they're playing it, it's an instrumental, and I'm like, "Are you kidding? This is Schoolhouse Rock." What? Yeah, and I'm like, and then I started thinking, is that song like a parody of like another song? And then they start singing exactly that. Figure eight is double four is half of eight, and it's like,
Oh,
what?
yeah. I remember
Why
that
is this
song.
happening?
It would be great if you
Yeah.
could skate, or if you make a
It
figure
would be great
eight.
if you could skate. You could
I didn't know that was a real
Yeah.
song. I thought that was made for this
Yeah,
weird
it's Schoolhouse
movie.
Rock. It's by the guys who
It's
did
from
like I'm
Schoolhouse
Mr.
Rock,
Bill.
but why? Why is that thrown in there?
Because it's in '86, so it's in that time frame, right?
No, but no. Schoolhouse Rock was me growing up in the '70s, so that's
Well, I don't know. What to tell you,
makes
man. It was just a choice.
it makes no sense.
I
It's
like it.
important,
I
though. He
personally
put it-
like it being in there.
Yeah, but I would love to know what the deal is behind it, because what does that even mean? I mean, like, what? And why that one?
I really thought this was an original song made for this weird movie. I've never heard of that before.
I figured
Wow,
just
Jesse Eisenberg really pulled the wool over your eyes here with the whole original
Yeah,
song
just did you
stuff,
know "Hey You"
so-
was a Pink Floyd song?
I did not.
Yeah, that's why.
Aw.
Even though earlier on he's playing from like the songbook that says "Hey You" by Pink Floyd when he's
Right.
practicing.
Also,
You
if
can
saw,
you miss it
you
if
know,
it goes by. It goes by quick, but
But you can watch Due Date with Robert Downey Jr. and what's his name from the
Zach
Hangover,
Galifianakis.
and Zach Galifianakis, and he gets super baked in a car to that song. So
Yeah, but you don't.
whenever
have
I
to
hear
see
it now,
TV.
but you could, but you don't have to.
You don't
but
have to. It's
That's what I
not-
think of now. Yeah,
I
So
did recognize the
visual,
song that the little girl sang at the talent show.
Yeah, that's a good song. What is that?
Yeah.
What is it? The one
I
that she
forgot what it
sings?
was,
It's,
but I did recognize that one.
Oh, she sang.
It immediately
it was
made me
Kyrie
think
Lazon.
of it. It made me think. "Hey, Lord, I must travel. Like that's how. What's that song?
It's Kyrie Lazon.
Yeah, because I remember that from a
Yeah.
different movie, The Way Back, which we will review one day. I will make you guys watch that too. And
But Kyrie Lazon that's a contemporary song to 1985 or 86.
yeah, that
but-
fits. And they see
Yeah,
Blue
the
Velvet
other-
in theaters, which fits that time frame too, which I love.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, do you guys have ratings on the visual sound?
I don't know, 2.
We've kind of abandoned a lot of the ratings for this episode, it seems like. I mean, I don't know if we even got a character rating. So basically, I like the 1 or 2 characters, and I hate everyone else. Like, it's kind of...
Yeah, I don't have no quantitative measure for this, but I'm going to tell you how I feel.
There you go. That
All
seems
right,
good.
so yeah, visual and sound here. I mean, it's on the lower end. It's a lower budget film as far as It's I think 1.5 million for 2005. So some money, not a ton, but with names in it, you got to imagine they got paid.
Yeah.
And this is Noah
It looks
Baumbach.
fairly mostly like handheld. I mean, there's only a couple times where you can definitely see that there's, a bunch of jerky movement going on.
It's made.
And it's
super
not
indie-
the
indie.
11-year-old doing the jerky movement. So
No, not the 11-year-old's jerky movement. The
right, it's the cameraman's jerky movement.
So yeah, I mean, I give it probably like a 3.5 because the visuals, I mean, it's all competent and it flows together. I think the cinematography is good enough so that you're invested enough to keep going. You can, the fact that we're at least remembering these parts and remembering the characters is it says something. Some movies we watch and we forget, immediately after, but at least this one, I think you can.
Well, Jess didn't remember if it had any music running through it. So
Yeah, but just doesn't remember most music, and most.
That's
Even
true.
the movie, even we just did This Is Us, and she's the one who liked that the most out of us reviewing it, and she couldn't remember a single song in it.
Whoops.
Yeah, we just watch movies differently. We look for different things. But the music in this I really did like. I especially love the ending song that we get with Jesse Eisenberg running to the museum. And that's pretty much where we are at this point. Jesse Eisenberg does a brief therapy session with where he talks about the squid and the whale exhibit at the American Museum of Natural History. It always scared him. And this is where he starts to realize from the therapist that his dad wasn't around when he was a kid. He's been defending Bernard this whole movie, and he's starting to realize now that, wait, this guy's an asshole. He's
actually not that great.
No, he's not great at all.
Which is classic. That's classic behavior, especially of a firstborn that kind of has to be there for his brother.
Right.
Even though he is, but he's, they don't really portray them as being close, but they really are. They really are close. So
Walt and Frank bicker, but I think Walt definitely looks out for Frank a lot. And Frank kind of pushes back against him some.
Especially at the end.
Yeah,
at the end especially. Walt has kind of a crisis at the end here when he starts to realize his dad's an asshole. And I think it culminates within the last 5 or 10 minutes here when Bernard is trying to take the kids back right after Walt comes back from dunking his head in the lake or river or whatever because he's just overwhelmed. And it comes out that Laura Linney's yelling at Jeff Daniels Bernard. He's like, you only wanted the kids part-time because you pay less child support because it's cheaper for you. And it all comes together, and Bernard kind of hesitates for a second but doesn't even deny it and just tries to take the kids with him because that's not what matters to him. All that matters is that he wins, that he beats Joan, he beats Laura Linney. He's the betterness. He's the better writer, he's the better parent, he's the favorite. That's all he cares about. And right here Walt completely stands up for Frank because Frank doesn't want to go. The kid, he doesn't want to go with the dad. He's like, "I'll
Frank
go."
Never wants to go.
No, the Frank's been this whole time been siding more with Joan, despite calling her ugly. He has been siding with the mom more, and Jesse Eisenberg's been siding with the dad. I think
he is a mama's boy.
I mean, they're both. It's partially story wise they had to pick sides, but I think the way that they choose to do it is effective all the way through. But I like this that Walt defends his brother, goes with his dad, and he's almost the most adult in this moment between his bickering parents and his drunk idiot son or brother, I guess. But Bernard has a heart attack.
He's not an idiot. I like him.
Owen Klein's Frank is kind of an idiot. What does it? I mean. He's a
It's always funny because he's young.
He's a child.
He's a Philistine. He's a self-proclaimed Philistine. But we're pretty much at the end here. Bernard has a heart attack, but doesn't have a heart attack, and he goes to the hospital. The cat.
Oh, it's totally fake too.
Oh, do you guys disagree right here? Does Mama K think it's definitely a heart attack, and Jess thinks it's all fake?
Oh, I thought it was fake.
What? Oh.
Well, discuss just for a second, because you guys have mostly agreed on everything in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he just wanted the dramatic effect, so he gave himself a heart attack.
Oh, man. That's not a bad thought process.
I think both of your interpretations work. Either it's bad and he's brushing it off because, I'm fine, I can do whatever. Or it's...
Well, because a heart attack would be on him. That would be him.
Right, exactly. He doesn't want it to be on him. Nothing's on him. It's never his fault. So that supports Mama K's it's a heart attack, but he's brushing it off. And whereas Jess's is, I want the attention, fake a heart attack. Now I have the attention, and then I can backtrack later. I think they both work in their own selfish ways.
It might be that because he has a history of being a liar. So I think that's
either way. He's lying in some way. Whether he's lying about having a heart attack or lying about not having a heart attack, he's definitely lying. Right. So, we get the final. So Bernard is in the hospital. Walt has a final little thing with him. Gives him a pillow, breakfast.
Yeah, the
blah,
pillow
blah, blah.
thing.
And Walt is stressing out. He runs out. He hits the elevator. It's too slow. He takes the stairs. The music swells up. I love the music at the end here. It's I can't remember the name of the song, but it's got this really heavy strings opening. And he runs to the Museum of Natural History, and he's looking at the Squid and the Whale exhibit that he was afraid of when he was a kid, and he's just standing there looking at it. And Nicole rolled her eyes as she looked over at me with tears running down my fucking face. Because when Walt has his final arc and he goes back and he confronts his fear, he realizes his dad's an asshole, and the music is really good here. I mean, I'm not bawling, but there's some watering in the eyes. This is a little dusty.
This was not a tear jerk. If anything, I had inverted tears.
You were absorbing.
I was dehydrated. Yeah, or I was rehydrated. I don't know. Something happened, but it wasn't crying. So
yeah. I think I like, because the therapist was like, think about a time with your mom that you really appreciate, and I did think he's like, oh, my mom actually wasn't that bad. I think it's my mom was fine. My dad just sucked.
So feel and resonance here. Mama K, what do you think?
I mean, I think it leaves you feeling something. For me, it was a little bit yucky, but
was it the semen that was yucky?
The semen was very yucky. The child semen strewn throughout this movie.
No, why would that's not a phrase you say ever? No, what?
This is the best movie I've ever seen with child semen, and I've seen a couple. I'm just gonna say that.
I was gonna say this might be my only movie I've ever seen with.
You guys have never seen Happiness?
Nope.
No.
There's a full. All right. Well, we don't have to get into.
Nope.
I'll make you guys watch that another day. That's a pretty good movie.
No.
That's my favorite movie.
I can't imagine.
That's my favorite movie with child. You know what? We won't have to talk about that movie right now.
Can we not talk about it?
Yeah, sorry.
Because,
I won't. Let's focus on this. What are you? Sorry.
Resonance.
What are we even talking about right now?
Feel and resonance. Do you feel it? Do you resonate with it? You know?
Do you feel it, Mr. Krabs?
Do I resonate?
Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs?
No. Can you? Can you feel it? I'm
going to regret most of the things I said in the show later. I know it. I'm going to have to go back and edit this.
You guys...
Listeners,
yeah,
we'll see.
I think
see what
might.
you guys actually end up
I mean,
doing,
it's women in your life. You're asking for it.
No, you guys have to balance me out. You have to balance out my ignorant ways.
Yeah. We're still trying to raise you up right, you know? So, it leaves you with a feel and a resonance. I just don't like it. I don't like the feel and resonance that I have after watching it. I do feel icky and yucky, and I hate that there are people like this in the world. So I can't give it a number because, yeah,
you guys have been really
it,
resisting giving it numbers the whole movie.
I think we're just trying not to hurt your feelings.
You guys can give it.
Oh, yeah.
No, just you can hurt my feelings. It's like, I like it when we argue on the show.
All right, well, I'm going to give this a 1.5 then. I'm going to say that.
There you go.
There we go. That's what I want to hear.
There we go.
Why do you think this is bad?
I mean, I just got no resonance off of this or feel. I just laughed at the kid, and it was a short movie.
It felt
that's fair.
well into my schedule.
That is a fair way to take this for sure.
Yeah. I don't have a number for you.
That's
fine.
Sorry. As long as you don't give me a minus,
yeah.
I don't mind a NA, no grade. So yeah,
exactly.
I mean, it's like a 4 or 5 for me. It's just so I love all the characters. I mean, I don't love the only one I don't love is fucking Ivan, Billy Baldwin's character, because it's pretty dumb.
He
bothers me so much.
He's just like you're like just a douchebag.
He's a Philistine. He's just, sup, brother?
He's a Philistine.
No, but like, I love the core family. Even Laura Linney's character, who's given the least to do. I still love everybody. Jeff Daniels. This is my favorite Jeff Daniels character. Bernard is just the worst ever. He's, and I like Walt's arc. I like the kid. He brings that extra zany, gross weirdness to it. The girlfriend's really good. I like everybody in this, and I like the pretty simple story, how it's told, and a tear or two was shed, so a 4 or 5.
Oh my gosh.
For me. But here's the big question: I'll start with Jess. Do you recommend Squid and the Whale?
Nope. No, I do not.
Mama K, do you recommend Squid and the Whale?
Yeah, I can't think of anybody that I know that I would recommend this movie to. There are people out here that would enjoy this movie, but
No, the fact that like Rotten
to
Tomatoes got like a 96, and I'm just like,
right.
I don't understand. Who are these? That was weighted. That 96 was weighted.
Oh, it is not.
It was
weighted.
a Philistine.
Because critics, you know why?
Weight.
Because critics can relate to these characters.
Because critics are these people. That's exactly why.
Yeah.
That's why.
I like them. I like their awful, and it's the writing is really good. I like them. I like the characters in this. I like how they're my favorite awful characters.
But they're awful characters.
I'm sorry. Did you recommend it or not recommend it? It sounded like you said no, not a.
Yeah, that's a not. I can't, because I would have to recommend it to people that I think would watch a movie, and the people that I know that would watch a movie would not want to watch this movie.
Recommend it to the Bernards out there.
Well,
I do. I recommend it to all the Bernards and all the critics.
Yeah, the Bernards will love this. It's an autobiography.
You're saying it like the Democrats and Republicans. The Bernards will love it.
This will appeal to the Bernards.
The Bernards are like
the Bernard party.
They're a tiny third party that no one likes except for like critics and me. So, I mean,
Pauline Kael would like it.
It's not quite as Eternal Sunshine-y as Eternal Sunshine was, but once again, I am the lone strong recommend. Love this movie, always will. One of my favorites, top 50. It's I've gushed enough about it, but and like I said before,
who are you going to recommend this movie to? I mean, honestly,
I think people listening to movie review podcasts, like that means you're pretty.
Great choice. Actually, that's
the people listening to our show, other than are the people who like film.
Wow.
That watch 100 and something movies a year. They want to see something like
this. Well, Jess and I just alienated the audience, I guess.
All I'm saying, but that's why every stupid review show, and there's plenty of good ones that I love, but like a lot of shows have only me's on, only people who are gonna like movies like this, and that's why I like having all of our different co-hosts on, because you guys have a more
eclectic.
Yeah, like Jess, your likes of movies are all over the fucking board, and Mama K, who would have guessed that the only woman on the show above 30 is the one that loves the Marvel movies, like, and Nicole's on and she hates movies, and she's like, we're reviewers that have very different tastes, so it's not all the same. Oh, I love this classic. Citizen Kane is the best thing ever, and Tyler Perry and Adam Sandler are the worst people ever. Like, I don't want to have that. I like having different opinions on it. So good on you guys for not liking this movie, because I love it.
We're gonna be able to. So what you're saying is that we're gonna be able at some point to review the pop star Never Stopping movie at some point.
I would love to review that movie, actually. You might be surprised on my opinion of that movie, but we'll see.
I know what
really?
This is. What movie?
You might be.
Oh,
it's a Lonely Island movie starring the Lonely Island guys, which is the main one's Andy Samberg, but you got Jorma Taccone in there, and I can't remember the third guy's name, which is kind of the point of the movie.
It's really called Never Stop, Never Stopping. I mean, there's no. What? No, that's not a title of a movie.
I would like to. I mean, I would be, if that's streaming somewhere at some point, I would be very open to reviewing that. But if you guys,
that was a recommend from Renee at work. So
have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
I would love to review that. Hot Rod is the other Lonely Island movie, but we're talking too much about behind the scenes stuff. If you guys, the listeners, you guys want us to review something.
Oh, those guys.
That's Films with the Women in My Life on Facebook, Films Women Pod on Twitter, and I am Brennan _pod host on Instagram. We've got a couple more streaming reviews coming around the corner, and then we're going to get into the later part of May and the beginning of June, which is the bulk of our theater reviews. We got Detective Pikachu coming out a little late. We've got Aladdin.
Yes.
We've got Godzilla. We've got Ma. We've got Toy Story 4 is coming down the pike. We got a lot of stuff coming up. So if there's something you want us to review in between our theater reviews, please let us know.
Wait, did you mention Parent Trap too?
Yes, The Intruder. Well, I think based on the release of this, I think The Intruder will have already come out. So
Whoops.
I might have to cut this. It's okay. No, it's we've got stuff coming down. So if you guys have anything else to add before we close the show out?
No, yeah, that was...
Yeah, don't be like any of these characters.
Don't be a Bernard.
Or a Frank.
Even me, or Frank. Even me who loves this movie, I would not recommend being any of these characters in real life.
Oh, that makes me feel so much better. Sometimes,
as much as I find them entertaining and I love watching them, in the real world, no, don't be these people. They're bad. All of them. I can't. Even the girlfriend has flaws, but that's.
What?
We can't rehash all this again.
I think I've exhausted all I can on this movie.
I think we've exhausted more than you ever thought we could on this movie.
Yeah, we're almost approaching the movie time, actually. So.
We actually are. So let's cut it off right here then, before we bore everyone to death. Jess, Mama K, thank you for being on.
Thanks.
See ya.
And until next time, everyone, this is Brennan signing off saying, enjoy your movies.
Thanks for listening to Films with the Women in My Life. If you enjoyed being a listener in our life, subscribe to us on iTunes. Please leave a review as it helps more people find the show. Like us on Facebook at Films with the Women in My Life, follow us on Twitter at FilmsWomenPod, and check out our website, filmswiththewomen.libsyn.com. That's filmswiththewomen.libsyn.com. Original music for the show was created by Ian Burke. Original artwork created by Nicole D'Alessio. This show is produced by Brennan Snyder. Thank you again for listening and enjoy your movies.